So there are so many different ways that we can make paint out of the stuff that we found. You guys probably are thinking that I'm a little bit crazy, but that's okay. I promise we're gonna be able to make paint. So let's go over some of our techniques. The first technique that I used is by making tea. So for this, you can use black tea, you can use hibiscus tea, you can use chamomile tea. Those are 3 teas that have really nice color that you'll be able to paint with just by adding a little bit of hot water. Another tea that I use that's not as common as the other 3 is butterfly pea flower. This one is really cool because it's going to change colors when you add lemon or white vinegar to it. For this step, we're just going to add a little bit of hot water to our flowers, and that's how we're going to make the color for our paint. Just let that sit for a little while. Here you'll see I'm adding a little bit of lemon juice to the tea to change the color. If you want to save some of the blue, make sure you don't add lemon juice to all of it. So once you've made your tea, you're just gonna dip your paintbrush into it. So I've got a paintbrush here. I've got a little rag to wipe my paintbrush away on. I've got a little bowl of water to clean off my brush. And I'm ready to go. So here's a butterfly pea flower. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So this is just tea. It's good to remember that the more you layer, the darker your color is gonna get. Because at first it's gonna show up pretty light on your paper. Now I want to show you, take a lemon or white vinegar, you can use white vinegar, and there's an acid in lemon and there's an acid in white vinegar that actually changes the color of this pigment. So, and it changes it to a purple color. I'll show you on a close-up, that way you can see it a little bit better. So that's it right there. You can see how it changes color when you add lemon to it. So here's just regular black tea. And I did the same thing, a little bit of water. That way we get the darkest color we possibly can. So this is just regular tea. And as you can see, that's gonna be a little bit lighter. So you're gonna have to be a little bit more patient with this color. And you're gonna add it up to make that value. So if you wanted to show value, you would have to add layers of the paint. It's also easier to let it dry in between your layers that you're adding. Here are some other techniques that you can use.
And then what I like to do is, you can either add a little bit of water from the tea water, or you can add just a little bit of warm water to them. Just a tiny bit. You don't want to dilute it too much. Perfect. So now we're going to set that aside and let that sit for a little while. You got it this way. All you're going to do for this one is just add a tiny bit of water. And then you can mix that up. And you'll see it starts to turn into kind of like a paste. This is probably too thick to be paint, so all you're going to do is add a little bit more water and keep mixing. So all you do is add water until it's as thin as you think. So you're probably looking for something around this kind of a consistency. Okay. Now I also have a coffee. That's simple enough. Just make a cup of coffee. You got some.
To use the wilted flowers, just let them sit in hot water until they cool down.
Now what we can do is use the petals. So with the flowers, what I like to do is just add a little bit of water, or hot water, and just let them sit in that water.
Use those to paint on your paper. So if you just mush those flowers around and play with it a little bit, you can make some texture on your painting. Here's those blue flowers. I soaked those in water too. So same thing with this one. You just kind of mush it around and play with it. It'll give you some nice color and some nice texture. This is what it looks like close up and when it's dry. And here's the daffodils. So it looks pretty cool. Now let's do the charcoal. So with the charcoal, all you have to do is draw on the paper with it. It'll come out. If you want to make a paint with it, get your paintbrush nice and wet and just dip it into that charcoal powder that you made. Another thing you can do is just add it to the drawing that you used. Now let's try the dandelions. These I found are the easiest if you just rub them right on the paper like this. You get a nice bright yellow color. We can try the dandelion leaves. Just rub them right on the paper, same way. And they give you a pretty green color. So now that these ones are a little bit more dry, let's go back and add some value to them. So you just add another layer to it to make a darker value. Another way to add texture to your paint is just to add a little bit of flour. You can experiment by mixing your paints together. Does it make a different color? Have fun experimenting with your paints. This is just a test strip to see how many different paints you can make and how they work.
Spices, coffee, and cheese. Or you can just add it